In this video, I'm going to share my top tips and best advice for anybody who's just getting started with Facebook ads. This is the advice that I wish I had when I was just getting started. And the idea here is to give you advice that's going to save you money, save you time and effort and energy, and just get you up and running and get you the results that you're looking for with Facebook ads as quickly as possible. So let's jump in. The first thing you need to do is spend time going deep into understanding exactly who your audience is and what they like, the way they speak. You really need to understand everything about your target audience. That means you need to go and spend time reading the websites that they read, find out what those websites are, and then spend a ton of time there. Which forums, what subreddits are they reading, and where else are they spending time online or offline? And you need to spend time there as well. You need to really understand where they are, but how they're speaking, what they talk about, the things that they're interested in, the things they're not interested in, the beliefs they have. And the only way to do that is to really go deep and spend time in these communities. The other thing to look at is YouTube channels. What YouTube channels are they spending time on? So it's not just websites, it's YouTube and it's social media as well. The other thing you need to understand about your audience is who the big influencers are in their space. Who are they following? Who are they listening to? Who is shaping their beliefs and influencing their behavior? You need to understand that. You need to be following those same people to understand the way they're speaking to your current audience and the way your audience responds to them. Let's take the parenting space as an example, because this is something I've been researching lately. Now, I've noticed a few really interesting things here. First of all, when it comes to baby sleep, there are a few different camps. Some people like what's called sleep training, others are really against sleep training. So I'm learning about that, and I'm learning about what it is people like about sleep training, what it is the people in the other camp don't like, the way they speak about it, all different types of things. I'm also noticing little things about the way they speak and the abbreviations they use. For example, I've noticed the term LO used a bunch in different forums and on social media. Well, that turns out means little one. So people are shortening little one for LO. Now that's really interesting because I can take that and use that in my ad copy and in other places, and I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't spent so much time in these communities. Now, for some reason, people skip this part and they just go straight to, well, I'm going to create an ad. But this is a vital part of the advertising process. And if you're going to run Facebook ads or Instagram ads, you really need to take this step first, and it takes days or weeks to do properly. So don't skip this step. Make sure you spend time understanding your audience. This will help you target better beyond just the surface level basic targeting stuff. This will really help you target your audience on the platform, and it will also help you with your messaging and copywriting later on as well. The second piece of advice I want to give you is don't reinvent the wheel. So what's going to happen is you'll notice that there are already competitors in your space targeting the audience that you want to target. And what I really encourage you to do is study what they are doing, mainly looking at how are they speaking to their audience? What angles are they using? Meaning, what pain points are they speaking to in particular? How are they speaking to those pain points when they're writing ads or copy for your audience? And who exactly are they speaking to? Like, who is the avatar that your competitors are going after? What kinds of things are they showing in their creatives? All of this is really important to understand, because it's likely that your competitors, especially the really big ones, have already spent tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars on ads. And if they're successful, then they've been through the trial and error. They've spent the money to learn what ads work, what ads don't work, and they've arrived at this point now where they are seeing massive success. You don't have to spend all of that money testing all of the things that they've already tested and failed at if you learn from what they're doing. Now, I'm not saying copy, okay? This is not about just, oh, look at my competitors and I'll copy what they're doing. What it is about is understanding the way they speak to the audience, the angles that they use, and the way they're structuring and positioning their ads that are currently working for them. Okay, so the third tip, if you're new to Facebook ads, actually, before we do that, if you're enjoying this video, tap the like button. Makes a huge difference to the channel, and I really do appreciate it. Now, moving on to this third piece of advice, and that is to make sure that you are targeting audiences who are experiencing a burning pain or a problem, and they already want a solution for that. Now, these are people who know they have a problem and they know there is a solution for it. What you don't want to be doing is going after people who don't even know they've got a problem yet, or who have a problem and they either don't know it's a big problem yet, or they don't really care enough to go looking for a solution, or they just don't know solutions exist. All right, so a good example of this is a local plumber. Let's say you've got a local plumber who knows that when you search for his or her name in their local city, their name doesn't even appear on the front page of Google search results. And that is a problem for them because they really want to be there to get more business. So this plumber knows they've got the problem of not being on the front page of Google, And they know that they want the solution, which is to get on the front page. They just haven't found the right solution yet. So if you were to put an ad in front of this plumber that said, learn how plumbers get on the front page of Google in their local area, then they are definitely going to click that and respond in a positive way to that ad because they were in the right frame of mind to do so. Now let's stick with the SEO example here and talk about if you were targeting people who were struggling with their business and didn't know why. On the flip side of this, you could just target people who are struggling with their business in general. The problem with that though is you're going to have to educate them on the fact that they are struggling because nobody's visiting their website, and nobody is visiting their website because they're not ranking in Google, and the way to fix that problem is through SEO, and you can help them do that. You can see that's a much more difficult process to take that person who doesn't really know what the problem is, they're not looking for the solution being SEO, and so you've got to educate them, and that is difficult, okay? That's a long, extensive process, and it's hard to do through 1 or 2 Facebook ads. You have to have a really robust strategy in order to do that. So when you're just getting started, it's a much more difficult way to go, as you can see. So to sum it up, it's much easier to go after somebody who knows they've got a problem, who knows there's a solution and roughly what the solution is, and then putting your ads in front of them, offering them that solution, than it is to just go out and put a random ad out there that kind of speaks generally to everybody and hoping that somebody will click. Which leads me really nicely into the next tip, which is to create ads for multiple avatars. Now, what I mean by this is identifying different people specifically who you can help with. So if we take the SEO example and say that you're teaching a course on how to rank in Google, well, that could apply to a lot of people. It could apply to the plumber that we just used in the example, but it could also apply to bloggers and online business owners. It could apply to e-commerce sites. It could apply to any other local business or trade. And what I recommend doing is when you start with Facebook ads, the key here is to sit down and identify all of those different people who could benefit from the product or service that you're offering. So in this example, we just identified entrepreneurs, bloggers or online business owners. We've got local business owners, and among that, we can split that down into lots of different local businesses like restaurants, trades, and a bunch of others, all of whom would benefit from the SEO course that we're using in this example. Once you identify all of these different avatars, then you should create specific ads for each of them and run those ads and see which one performs the best. I'll give you a real world example now to show you why this is so important. So I was running ads for a program that benefited a bunch of different people. It could have worked for bloggers, it worked for coaches, it worked for entrepreneurs in general. And this course was also applicable to e-commerce site owners. Now we identified all of these different avatars and we created a series of different ads that spoke specifically to each of them. Now what we noticed was when we specifically spoke to the bloggers, we got the cheapest leads out of all of the different avatars that we were targeting. However, very few of them converted into sales, meaning our return on ad spend wasn't great. But when we targeted coaches, when we wrote ad copy and made creatives specifically for coaches, we noticed that the lead costs were slightly higher, but they were much more likely to buy, meaning our return on ad spend was much, much higher. Once we identified this, we could create a bunch more ads, all targeting coaches, and really hone in on that avatar and focus all of our ads on that. But we would never have found that if we simply went with bloggers from the start and just ran all our ads speaking to that specific audience. So it is really important that you identify a range of different avatars, target all of them when you're first starting out with different creative and copy that speaks specifically to them. Find what works best, and then you can narrow down and focus on that top performer. Speaking of creating ads for each of the different avatars, the other tip I'll give you here is that volume is key. You need to create a lot of different images and videos for your ads and a lot of different sets of copy in order to test. One of the things I hear from new advertisers all the time is, hey, here's my ad that I'm about to run. Can you check it out? Have a look, tell me if it's good before I send it live. And my response is always, where are the rest, right? You don't want to just start with 1 or 2 ads. You want to start with at least 4 to 5 different creatives, meaning images and videos, and at least 3 to 4 different sets of ad copy. Now, if you're running different avatars, you want to run that many of each for each avatar that you're targeting. And yes, it sounds like a lot, but this really is the key to success. You need to test a lot in order to find what works and what doesn't. Despite what a lot of people will tell you, mastering Facebook ads is difficult. There are a lot of skills you need to master in order to become a really good Facebook advertiser. It's just like any other skill, except the skill of Facebook advertising is actually a combination of different skills. And so what I've done is I've created a video that you can see here that walks you through each of the critical skills you need to become amazing at in order to become a great Facebook advertiser. So make sure you check that one out. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon. Bye.